God's perfect imperfections and man's imperfect perfections. Hello, my people. I come again to speak from the veil behind the darkness. And if this darkness was to disappear, you would no longer perceive the light. Many in the darkness will say they rather the light. Many in the light understand the darkness. The two must be the perfect balance. So then, let us learn to see things and appreciate them for what they are. Perfection will not, in these dimensions, be accessed on any micro level. It will be seen in the bigger picture as you see perfection in diamond coming from killing fields in Africa. The only difference is that on God's divine channel, this time it was worth it. It was worth for you to taste the bitter, for it brought you to the perfect sense of what is sweet tasting. You have power in the physical plane, but most of this power is given to limitations. You were supposed to be in limitation. You have power in the spiritual plane, but most of the power is given to limitations. You were supposed to be limited. You have power in the mental plane, and all that power is absolute in God and as God. All that power is absolute in God and as God. Everything that is intelligent is God, of God, and as God. Everything that is intelligent is God, of God, and as God. This parable should no longer seem insolvable, and no longer must we say that it is the allegory. It is the truth that bitter and sweet are institutions. These institutions give us true reflections of what we are. The only way for you to see yourself truly is to see your reflection in the mirror. This state of adversities is your reflection. If I told you that you are God, you might be fearful that you run away from you, and you will say, I blaspheme. You blaspheme the design of God in the universe because you are told to be God by God in design. You are in this plane to look at the mirror and to afford God to see itself in all these experiences. You are God's omnipotence, you are God's omnipresence, and you are God's omniscience. I will leave it at that for you to conceive on your own energy. The likeness of man and all living things conform to specific concepts of form or image. It is the idea of intelligence by way of the visual in 3D. The image of God conforms to no form. It is limitless, that it accommodates all without prejudice. Neither will it accommodate the idea that it is of one gender except in the particular expression. If you say that God is the sun, you might prejudice the moon. But God is ever equal. It is the idea of intelligence by way of perfect and generic consciousness. It is intrinsic. It is the only truth, the only possible conception of reason or consciousness. And everywhere there is the idea, there is God in it and in absolute. Intelligence does not exist anywhere outside of God. Your intelligence is God's intelligence, and your presence is God's presence. You are one of God's perfect imperfections. God cannot see itself as male or female except at the particular port of thought. But God as the whole is just God. God cannot absolve its absolute from the creatures of the forest. So while you seek preeminence over these, you reflect more of the evil ego of you to you from the darkness. Those that hunt, shepherd, and enslave, you show you the mirror. How do you treat the other members of God's person on this earth? How many times you hunt and torture? You are lucky that you don't even know that you are being kept as farm animals. At least no one knows except those of one race. And as I said, ego. Here is the paradox. One is this: embrace your ego to the fullest. The other is this: give up your ego for gratitude. Every single being of intelligence who solves this puzzle will be enlightened. Those that believe that you should hide these principles as esoteric cults of the elites are mistaken. How can you ask the abundant being to pay you money when he appears to you by his abundance and because of that abundance? The sun will not hide from those that hate the sun. The rain will bless even those that hate the rain. Those that hate the sun will suffer for their own lack, and so will those that hate the rain. To teach a bear cub how to fly is not the same as teaching the eagle. It is impossible to waste bread on any swine when it has no mouth to feed. But by your actions in your utopia, the man who has teeth to eat corn should find that corn does not grow for him. This is the utter and selfish fortitude that breeds complete spiritual lack. The sun shines because it is the sun, and God's omnipotence in us is infinite because it is God as the rays of light from the sun that we as every ray reflect to the entire world. You can serve peanuts to every soul of this earth, but not every soul will be able to eat of it. It will only be sickness for many. God has given you that which you do not truly give because you want to be judgmental and ascribe pedigrees to persons. I am like a child to you because you did not know me in your initiation. Neither was I taught the esoteric things that you had to had to you as privilege. Also, I accept that I was served as one of your outcasts by the system of servitude and have induced mediocrities to peasantries that you engage with. Yet, I came to tell you this. Not only do you, in your cult and belief system, and with the privileged information, serve the evil, but also I come to tell you that you allowed you to go under their spell, and it began by greed and avarice. I do not come to insult. If I have this truth to speak, then tell me how better to say it. But you are my brothers, and I have only love for you. I am not more or less of an equal, but the web that you have weaved is the same reason that enlightens the dark. It empowers those that you oppress. All your breaches in the divine plane shall soon fail for you and balance restored. This man that intruded upon my dream was of high honor on this earth, but why he could not come up to the level to join the conversation is in him that he projected to me with hate, and he wanted desperately to see me as a peasant slave of the earth. But all he had was the unfounded anger in his eyes that I was on the upper floor speaking with the very God he served. I want you to think about this. Accept the results of the situation. It is how God brings balance, and you already know only that you had no clarity in the beginning. It is your choice to do right. Let me explain something to you about human divine development. Note that the mind is of greater faculty than the car, but in a 3D realm, we marvel at the faculties that are put inside the car by mind. We are limited inside of the car to those faculties offered in the design of the car. The more facilities that it offers, the more powers we have to project our will. Our body carriages had all these facilities at that time, so mind could have more access to carry out its conscious will and enhance the godlike experience on this physical plane. Then there came the Anunnaki type karmics and those that imitate the Anunnaki. By miscegenation, they took most of the higher faculties away from the carriage, which is the body of human, the carriage or the car. By this, they sought to enhance their own experience in a selfish way by making these limited victims become servants working for their joy at the expense of their own. The masses knew more sorrow than joy ever since. But today, instead of creating the degree of redress or a respite point, they tend to bring more burdens upon the shores. And I tell you that the evil will be finished. This is what many of you serve in the name of religion and goodness. The ultimate destruction tool was religion, the spirit or hallowed ghost spell. Many call it Holy Ghost. But why did God allow this to happen? Because God was us all the time, and the end of our faults were always our own. How else can we experience outside of all our particles? Can we have an experience without every drop of blood in our vein and every chip of DNA recording the drama? The answer is no. We are looking inside the mirror to see what we are. Many say that God already knows everything and needs not the experience. If you don't know everything, then God knows not everything. Everything exists as the big picture, but more things shall be created in the bigger picture from every micro scale. Besides, there is no limit or closure to experience. You can play the same checker game all day, every day, because every time you play it, is a different experience, and even the same experience has a different voice than that of the last time you played. When the voice of distress becomes more overbearing in perpetual motion, then the ideal will recreate a new order that God will make recompense. The changes will come to the bigger picture because it is made in the lesser ones. Your disease will heal to you because little particles of healing blood did individual work inside you that you could not even conceive. We experience by looking in the mirror that it is ungodlike to kill, but we kill to eat. The general ideal today is that we must stop. Will we kill the plants? Then it will also prove undesirable at some point. Do we have to kill to eat? No. We can evolve to not eat. We do not have to eat. These faculties were stolen from us by the demons of miscegenation. But now the regenerations begin that will span for eons. These regenerations that are coming in the wind will span for generations, and the devils will go down to the pits they dug. This is what I see coming unstoppably, and this is what they are hustling to prevent. We came from night. We came from not light, but dark energies that conceived light. All we needed all the time was conscious energy. No, we do not need to eat physical food, but we have all forgotten. See, there is the cosmic that we think we can see by looking up, but in truth, these heavens are above within us. The heavens are above within us. From the lowest point of our carriage to the highest is our journey. From the base of our spine at the lower degrees, we move upwards to high heaven in the crown of our heads. These are no allegories. We are cosmic computers, and they make other material computers to replicate our greatness. They first took away our greatness, and then They make technologies that replicate our greatness in order to be the power instead of us. To date, nothing overshadows the glory of God in man. God internal, man divine, to be cast in the abyss, in the pits of hell, to be placed in the bottomless pits, are the imperfections that were unnaturally placed on these gods, severing the connection from the base of the spine to the cosmic region in the human carriage, left him in the pits of hell as the beast at the lower planes. This is the bottomless pit, and your ascendancy to God will come at the time of repair or regeneration. But the demon will feed you more of this mutative food and disease. It will be up to you to rise or to remain worshippers of lower beings than yourself. They are closed off from heaven. They need you to serve them in hell. They need their technologies to manufacture their artificial greatness. They need to make their own heaven at the base of the crap hole. And the universe will not give a damn what you choose or not. So choose or not. If you take away all the things you claim to be bad, you will also take away every perception of what is good. There is no way to know light without darkness. You need to be at peace. When you are at peace, you are in balance. When you are in balance, you understand that this is all we need for perfection. This was all that we were looking for all this time. We were not here to destroy the negative and then leave the positive to remain. By doing that, we would break the mirror and then we could not see ourselves. We were always trying to break the mirror, and that includes the unholy elites. We were here to make good use of God's perfect imperfections, but instead we took to envy, greed, and prejudice. Peace out.